Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Savannah Chrisley contradicts Daddy Todd in a big way. Savannah Chrisley has contradicted Daddy Todd in a big way on the most recent episode of her podcast titled Unlocked. During this episode, she sat down with her brother Grayson, and she admitted she was thrilled to have her giant little brother on the show. Savannah explained that her little brother was probably the most honest member of the family. She knew the brutal honesty her brother had would go over well with her podcast viewers. She wasn't wrong. A conversation she had with her little brother, however, contradicted something their father had said in a pretty big way. And it left Chrisley Knows Best fans scratching their heads. Was Todd just lying and going for sympathy? Or is Grayson just trying to put on a tough guy show for Savannah's viewers? Todd Chrisley described his son Grayson as a child with a very tender heart. As TV show's Ace previously reported, Todd Chrisley told viewers during his podcast that his son Grayson was having an especially difficult time with the storm the family was in the middle of because he had an especially tender heart. According to Todd, his son was having a difficult time dealing with all of the negative press surrounding his family. Todd said that his son is sweet and sensitive. He told viewers he had to sit down with Grayson and explain to him that he couldn't let the headlines of various media tabloids get to him. Now, it was back in July of this year when Todd made this claim. But the young man that Todd described was not anything like the young man who sat with his sister during a podcast just a few days ago. Grayson came off as a strong, passionate, and opinionated young man. He told his sister he wasn't bothered by tabloids because no one knew him better than he knew himself. Likewise, he said several times throughout the podcast he just couldn't care less what people thought of him. Unsurprisingly, this interaction left fans a bit baffled. Had Grayson really done that much growing and maturing in just a few months? Or had Todd just played that card during his podcast to try and gain more sympathy with his viewers for his situation? Savannah Chrisley has never been the type to stay silent, especially when it comes to protecting her independence and speaking her mind. For years, fans of Chrisley Knows Best have watched her balance her fierce loyalty to her father, Todd Chrisley, with her own desire to step out of his towering shadow. But recently, Savannah did something that shocked both viewers and family insiders alike. She openly contradicted her daddy in a very big way. And if you know anything about Todd Chrisley, you know he doesn't exactly appreciate being challenged. The Chrisley family dynamic. The Chrisley family has always been rooted in a particular hierarchy. Todd, the sharp-tongued patriarch, runs the show. Julie, the steady matriarch, provides calm and balance. The children each carve out their space, but ultimately Todd has the final word. At least that's how it has always been. Savannah, however, has spent years proving she isn't just Todd's daughter. From launching her beauty brand to hosting her own podcast, Unlocked with Savannah Chrisley, she has made it clear that her voice carries weight, both inside and outside the Chrisley household. But what really set off a storm was Savannah's latest public comment, a direct contradiction to something her father, Todd, had claimed just weeks earlier. Todd's strong statement. While serving time, Todd Chrisley has been vocal through letters, statements read by his lawyers, and rare interviews. Recently, he doubled down on one of his most consistent messages. The Chrisleys are united, strong, and speaking with one voice. He painted a picture of solidarity, insisting that no matter the stress of prison sentences, financial scandals, and public judgment, his children were in lockstep with him and Julie. He wanted the world to believe that his family was presenting a united front, refusing to let outside forces crack their foundation. But Savannah wasn't about to play along if that didn't match reality. Savannah breaks away. During a podcast episode last week, Savannah addressed rumors that the Chrisley kids were all aligned with Todd's perspective. Her words were strikingly blunt. "Look, I love my dad. I'll always love my dad. But that doesn't mean I agree with everything he says, or that I'll pretend I do just to make things easier. My truth matters too." It was a bombshell moment. Not because Savannah hadn't disagreed with her father before. Viewers of Chrisley Knows Best saw her stand up to him plenty of times. But this was different. This wasn't a playful on-screen argument about curfews, dating, or her fashion line. This was Savannah directly calling out her father's version of events, publicly, for the entire world to hear. Fans were quick to jump on the contradiction, taking to social media to express shock and admiration. One fan tweeted, "Savannah just told the truth Todd didn't want us to hear. Respect her for keeping it real." Another wrote, "Todd has always demanded loyalty, but Savannah is showing she's not afraid to have her own identity. This is the growth we've been waiting for." Some, however, weren't impressed. Critics accused Savannah of being disloyal or opportunistic, suggesting she might be using her father's troubles to boost her own public profile. Still, the overwhelming response leaned toward praise for her honesty. The pressure of being a Chrisley. It's easy to forget that behind the glitz of reality TV fame, Savannah and her siblings have grown up under enormous pressure. Every move has been scrutinized. Every relationship dissected. Every word analyzed for clues about the true state of the Chrisley empire. For Savannah, that pressure has been even more intense because she has emerged as the de facto spokesperson for the family while Todd and Julie serve their sentences. She manages custody of her younger siblings, fields media inquiries, and tries to keep her own career afloat. In many ways, her contradiction of Todd wasn't about rebellion, it was about survival. "People want honesty from me," Savannah explained on her podcast. "If I sit here and just parrot everything Dad says, then what's the point? I've got to be transparent, even if it's uncomfortable." A daughter growing into her own. This clash between Todd and Savannah represents more than a single disagreement. It symbolizes a generational shift within the Chrisley family. Todd's old-school insistence on control and loyalty is giving way to Savannah's emphasis on individuality and authenticity. It's a shift fans have seen before in other reality TV dynasties, the Kardashian-Jenners, the Duggars, even the Housewives franchises. The younger generation grows up in front of cameras and eventually, they demand to rewrite the narrative. For Savannah, this moment is particularly powerful. She's not just disagreeing with Dad. She's demonstrating to her siblings, her fans, and herself that she has the strength to stand apart when necessary. Todd's likely reaction. Of course, the big question is, how will Todd respond? Those who know him predict he won't take it lightly. Todd is used to having the final word, one insider shared. Hearing Savannah contradict him publicly? That's going to sting. But others believe Todd, despite his pride, might secretly admire his daughter's courage. After all, he raised her to be outspoken, fearless, and unwilling to settle for less than the truth. In some ways, Savannah's contradiction is proof that she's living out the very values he instilled. Still, fans shouldn't expect Todd to issue a warm, congratulatory message anytime soon. If history has shown anything, it's that Todd Chrisley prefers to maintain his version of events, whether or not the rest of his family agrees. The bigger picture. What Savannah has done goes beyond family drama. It highlights the challenges of living authentically in the public eye, especially when your brand is built on presenting a perfect image. Reality TV families often crumble under the weight of contradictions, what they portray versus what actually happens behind closed doors. By breaking rank, Savannah may actually be doing her family a long-term favor. She's showing that honesty resonates more deeply with fans than polished storylines ever could. And in today's media world, transparency is power. Where Savannah goes from here. If this moment proves anything, it's that Savannah Chrisley is ready to carry her own torch, no matter what her father says. Whether she continues to contradict Todd or finds ways to bridge their differences, she has made one thing clear. Her voice will not be silenced. In fact, this could mark the start of a new chapter for Savannah. One where she defines herself not as Todd's daughter, but as Savannah, an entrepreneur, a caregiver, a woman who has weathered storms and chosen to speak truth over image.